Hello. I fucking
Hello.
started with Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you
Dude.
kidding me? All right, okay.
Uh,
Oh my God. Okay, let's go straight into it.
dude,
Okay.
that's
Hey,
awesome.
hi. My name is
Um,
Matthew,
Matthew
uh,
Walker.
and this is my friend Nolan.
Uh, yeah, I'm totally your friend.
Yep. That definitely doesn't hurt my feelings immensely.
I know.
That's definitely
Hello.
why I did draw you as like a little stoner man.
Yeah, I know. When I
Okay.
have bags under my eyes.
I have a question for you, Nolan.
What's your question?
You ever read the Wikipedia pages for Flat Stanley? Because this
No.
stuff is insane. So, what do you know about Flat Stanley as a
Uh,
character?
didn't he get like trapped in a book or something, or he got like flattened? Because I know he is flat, but like it was because of
Yes, he is
books, right?
flat. Factually, he is flat. Uh, Most of the time he's not flat. So only the first. I fucking um. Uh,
uh, um, uh,
so in the first Flat Stanley book, there's
mm,
like a. I think it's like a large like whiteboard basically, and it falls on Flat Stanley and it flattens him.
okay.
And because he's some sort of alien creature and has a strange Mr. Fantastic biology, he survives and is flat.
Okay.
But then he gets fixed because but they use a bicycle pump up him, and I don't know where they put the
Oh.
bicycle pump in. I think it's his mouth, and then he gets inflated.
Oh,
The rest of the
okay.
Flat Stanley books are not about him being flat. There's like a one more about him being flat, but he goes to the moon, and he's not flat on the moon. He just talks to like the moon people.
What?
I think in one he like has to seduce the Santa's daughter or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but they're
Okay.
insane.
But that
They're
that
legitimately insane.
that does sound pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I thought
Um.
you take me as a Flat Stanley fan for some reason, Nolan. I'm
Uh.
sorry that I misjudged the situation.
I I have never in my many years of being a human have read a Flat Stanley book.
You've never read Flat Stanley?
No, I've seen it in like the Scholastic book fairs when you go there and you just buy like erasers and posters. I never bought the books. I only bought the cool car poster.
You bought the car poster?
I got the car poster and I lied to my mom and I said, they were out of books.
The
But
Scholastic Book Fair was like a proving ground of clout.
yeah.
At my mm, what was flat
Mm,
was Flat Stanley? What was Scholastic? That was like middle school,
yeah.
elementary school. Yeah. If you didn't get like the little phone eraser, you were a chump. If
I
you didn't get
got
a
the
mechanical pencil, you were a chump. There's like mechanical pencil like
yeah.
wars. If you didn't have
Yeah.
a specific mechanical pencil brand, you were like cringe,
You also had
and
to
you could
pretend to
not.
be shooting up various drugs with that said mechanical pencil in order to look cool by holding the end and letting the lead it looks like you're stabbing yourself with the lead, but in reality it's just going back into the pencil.
I
That's
have
how
no
you looked
context
cool.
for this. I don't remember that at all.
You
I
know
was in
you
elementary.
never did that?
No,
You didn't like pretend to stab the pencil into your arm like a syringe and hold the end so the lead just goes back in?
no,
You never did that? Like
no.
everybody in my school
I
did
remember there
that.
was. I remember at Scholastic Book Fair there was a syringe shaped pen, which I
Oh,
don't think encourages that kind of
oh.
behavior. Well, it does encourage that kind of behavior, but
Yeah.
I remember that
Also,
explicitly.
I guess Flat Stanley encourages inflation kinks, but moving
I
on from
guess,
that.
yeah. You had to make it weird. Thank you.
You
No,
know, that's why
literally.
I'm here.
Okay, so Flat Stanley, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think the second Flat Stanley's about?
Um,
Let's be honest here.
I'm gonna guess one of them is about time travel, so I'll guess that one.
No, and the next one is about a magic lamp with a genie. I don't know why.
Oh. Oh, why didn't I guess that? It's so
Yeah, I mean that
obvious.
was pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious that it would have been the genie and the lamp.
Well, okay, so that's the genie and the lamp. It's pretty crazy, right? The third
Yeah.
one is about space travel. So
Oh, okay.
Stanley's last name is Lamb Chop, by the way. I don't know why. That's kind of weird. I think you get bullied for that, but
Wait,
he gets
really
sent in
quick.
space by the he gets sent in space by the president. Remember
Really,
this?
really quick. I'm remembering another thing about the Scholastic Book Fair. Did you ever get
Yeah,
one of those like erasers that was in like the like the cube that you had to put
cube
together.
eraser.
Yeah, where like there was a bunch of separate pieces and you had to put them together in order to make like one shape, and then you could take them apart and use them as like individual erasers.
Vaguely, I remember there was like
There's like a star one, or like look at the end of a mace, like a ball
I
and
remember
chain,
that. I
or
remember there
as
was
like
specific eraser like shapes that they would use as
yeah,
toys.
yeah, and like you could take them apart and there were individual pieces and it was like a puzzle, and you had to put them back together. And I sucked at them. I would
You're not
spend
very good at puzzles.
I would spend some puzzles I am, but like I would spend literally almost all of my class time messing around with this little like puzzle eraser, and then my history teacher would be like, "No, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm trying to put my eraser back together, and I can't put it back together." And then he does it in like 5 seconds. He's like, "Here you go." And I'm
How
like,
how
"Wow."
bad did you feel that your
No.
teacher immediately solved your racer puzzle
Well,
that it
no, he was an
perplexed you for an
adult and he
hour
was
and 15
smart.
minutes?
He was
Okay.
smart.
This is a
Um,
competent adult that can
yeah.
solve an eraser
And
puzzle made for children.
I was just a big dumb child, you know.
Don't self-deprecate, Nolan. That's not
Listen,
good.
I didn't have good history grades. I sucked at history, even though I
I
liked history a
history
lot.
history's great. I used to get in trouble in my science class.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. Okay, if I read a book, sometimes even if it's like a book they assign, if I start reading and get into it, I'll like read it all, and then I get in trouble because I read it too early,
Uh,
or I'll read it in other classes. So I was reading a book in my science class, and my teacher's like, "Yo, stop reading your book." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like that's what I got in trouble with. Like, oh, Nolan's getting in
stop
trouble by
being
shooting up mechanical lead into his veins. I'm getting in trouble for
shooting up
reading
mechanical lead
a
into my
book in
veins.
class. I
And
know it
Matthew's
wasn't
like,
during
why
SSR time.
why you be oh sit.
It was during silent
Oh my
sustained reading.
oh my god. Dude,
Remember SSR? We don't do that anymore.
SSR.
Do
I
kids read books anymore? I don't think they read books.
well, no, I feel like some of them have to, right? Because like I don't feel like books as a medium is just no longer existent in the younger generation. I just
Books
feel
as a
like,
medium.
yeah, I don't know, like,
What are your favorite types of books, Nolan?
uh, hmm, I like, I like psychological horror stuff a lot.
Okay, what about that is interesting to you?
I just, I like when you're reading something, right? You don't know what's really happening because you could
Hmm.
just read something about like a person who's like murder mystery and psychological horrors are my favorite, right? If I'm reading like Harry Potter, I know that like, oh, he's got the wand and he's gonna go kill Voldemort, right? That's boring. And like I lose interest very quickly because I know
Dude,
what's gonna happen and I know that he's
dude,
gonna be epic.
spoilers.
Oh, sorry, jeez.
I didn't. What the heck, man?
You didn't read Harry Potter as a kid?
I read Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter in like class. I got in trouble for it. It's another book I read in class. I got in trouble. Well, I
Oh
mean,
man.
okay. So I was really bad. I like the idea of like liking books because it's like it kind of
Yeah,
unphases your mind from the reality of what you're reading. I guess that was a
yeah,
stupid way of putting that, but
it was.
it was an overly obtuse way of putting it that I don't know why I said it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
it was, but you know, it was
but
fine. uh,
I mean, I've never been that much into horror. I've tried to get more recently, but like, what about it appeals to you? Is it just
it's
like, go on?
it's like the it's more so the psychology side of it than the horror. I like big spookies, you know, I like monsters and stuff. That's
You're
cool.
famous for your love of big spookies.
I am in fact a big spooky enjoyer. But what really gets me into stories like that is delving into like the depths of the human mind, right? Because
Mhm.
psychological horror, right? It can depict a scarily accurate depiction of fear and how you respond to that and how you can make
Yeah.
irrational decisions. There are people who will look at us like horror films and be like, "Oh, why don't they just kill it?" Duh, duh, duh." It's because they're afraid, and when you're scared of stuff, you don't know what to do. Like it's that flight or fight, or flight, fight or flight response. right?
And have you been in a situation like that where you had to like activate your fight or flight? Because I know I've been in one I
Uh,
can talk about,
I
but
mean, like probably just like bullies come up to me in school and they're like, we're gonna beat you up."
I can't
Wait,
solve your eraser.
they stole my puzzle eraser. I'm like, no, and I had to run away. Um, but I don't know. It's just that innate response to fear and how it can affect a person. Because it's not always like running away or fighting, right? It's also, it can just like depreciate your sanity and can just cause you to do things you would never do or even consider. And just looking into that and how it, like the words on, sometimes you could just watch a movie, right? And you could look at a person and those subtle details that get you going. But when it's written out onto a page and you have to listen to the incessant detail of how this person is slowly going insane, I just find that in fact fascinating.
Do you like Lovecraft stuff? Because I
Lovecraft
know
is
some Lovecraft stuff, but
it, it I feel like Lovecraft stuff is kind of like it's a mixed bag where
mhm,
and most of Lovecraft stuff is a big scary tentacle man coming out of the ocean, and then that's where the book ends, right? Like
yeah,
Cthulhu, I feel like has saturated the market for Lovecraft stuff when there's so many cool things that you could do.
yeah.
Like,
Also,
s-
sort of a problematic individual these
yeah,
days. Like, kind of
uh,
hated everybody.
I don't. You hear about that legal case?
What?
Cthulhu's in some deep water.
Okay, Nolan.
Okay.
He said, "Did you? Was that a setup for that joke? Did you set up that joke by saying deep water just for that? Is that the entire purpose of that? Because I thought it would be a bit more. I'll be honest. I slightly expect more from you. But if that's the bar you want to reach, that's fine.
Uh, oh man.
You in deep
No.
water? You sound like you're drowning.
Jesus Christ. Um, no, no, a little bit of both. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
Your
with
house
Cthulhu,
is 2/3 flooded.
yeah, my house is currently under the ocean, twenty
Yeah,
thousand leagues
usually.
below the sea.
Mhm.
Okay, quick
I mean,
callback.
20,000 leagues under the sea?
You've never heard of
No, I know what that is.
that?
Well,
Okay,
okay, you wanna know some
moving
20,000
on.
leagues?
Sure.
The ocean okay, I'll be okay, speaking of horror and, like, the ocean is terrifying, man.
It's
Do you know about, like you know about thalassophobia? I think is what it's called?
no, I love the ocean. I want to go down there and I want to get eaten by a whale and then just be like, wow, I'm dead,
Wanna
I
get eaten
guess.
by a whale? Are you Pinocchio? What kind of whale do you wanna be eaten
No,
by?
no, like as in, dude, marine biology is so cool, man. If I had to become any kind of like doctor in anything, it'd probably be marine biology because the ocean is so goddamn scary.
You do hate people, so
Yeah,
fish is better.
I
Yeah.
could go down and look at fish and be like, oh, that's crazy. There's this on the subject of podcasts. There's this guy who I was like scrolling through YouTube Shorts because I needed dopamine for the day. Um,
Mhm.
it was just he was talking about how he went under. He was on like an ocean floor and he had to go to the bathroom. And in order to
Oh,
go to the bathroom, you have to go out and into this little like bubble, and you just go and you just piss and you do whatever, right? So he had to
yeah.
leave his like little enclosure that he was staying in while he's under the ocean. And it was like dead of night, it was pitch black, you couldn't see anything. And the he just felt like there was something watching him. And he turned around while he was in his most vulnerable state, naked and going pee. There was just this giant eye looking at him. And he immediately went back to the enclosure. He was like, "What's that?" And he started freaking out. And then they shined a light on him. It was just a sunfish. It's just a big fish. But that goes back to that innate flight or fight response to where it's just there are just things in this world that our brains can just look at and we like the chemicals in our heads just go like, I don't understand what this is, therefore fear.
Yeah.
That's why I like Lovecraftian stuff. I feel like Cthulhu saturated the market, but like there's so much cool stuff that you could do beyond Tentacle Monster. I can't name stuff because I have a bad memory, but Lovecraft stuff is cool. I also feel like space horror stuff is cool because that's kind of in like
Yeah.
the same vein.
I,
Uh,
s- Space of is scary. I recently watched like Interstellar for the first
oh,
time,
great
and just
movie.
like the concept of like time being so warped and what feels like minutes to you is like years to other people like screws in my brain a lot, like how scary of an idea that is.
You could just be on a planet, right, for an hour, and you go back to Earth, and literally no one you knew was there anymore, right? It
Yeah,
would have been hundreds, if not thousands of years. And that's a natural thing. That's not like some monster that exists. Time is just a thing that is real, and we can do nothing about it. And that is so cool.
I mean, is time real though? Whoa,
Time is
no.
just a construct.
Well, it's what's interesting is that like if you're talking about like time, right?
Yeah,
There's some cultures that see time as like something that's more passive and that
yeah,
you like that like isn't cycles, I guess. I haven't done that much research in this, but I know
yeah.
I find it interesting how the different perceptions of time inflict us and how like somebody experiences. I'm rambling. I'm doing a Matthew Waffle session right now.
Matthew Rant
But
session.
I'm not ranting. I am discussing time
Uh,
and I'm wasting our listeners'
time.
time.
Yep.
Uh so yeah. Okay, we never answered the question, Nolan. What kind of
Oh.
whale would you want to be consumed by? I want to
Oh,
know.
probably blue because they're big and I'd be able to chill in there like Pinocchio. And he'll be like, I'll find an old man. He's whittling a little doll and be like, I've been in here for 48 years. And I'd be like, wow.
What do you mean, old man whale carving
Yeah,
a wooden?
little wooden boy.
Awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome, bro.
No, I
Why?
just like,
Why exactly? Oh, I mean, is a whale? Okay, what's your favorite marine animal then?
manta ray.
Why a manta ray?
They're very elegant and they can also kill you if you're not careful. Um,
There.
I, I like, I also just feel also octopi are really cool because octopi are probably the closest thing to like actual aliens that we have in reality, right? Because the way that their
100%.
intelligence works is so similar to mammals and how they work, right? Like they have brains, they have like ways to think. Um but they're so divergent from our species like evolution that it makes no sense how they gained that level of intelligence. So it's basically like the closest thing we have to aliens.
Do you think aliens are real?
I'd like to,
Why would you like to specifically?
because then it's like current theory is if we're the only ones out there, I find that more scary than if there's like other dudes out there, right? If
Yeah.
if we are the only if we are like that one in like infinite chance of life creating that such specific like circumstance was met in order to create humans, right?
Mhm.
I feel like if like because then if aliens exist, then that's the possibility of contemporaries, like other beings that could have this insight that we just don't, or
True. I mean,
they could be like shockingly similar to us. They could just be like us, but like blue.
it's Star Trek. It's just
Yeah,
like us, but they have like a thing on their nose and
yeah,
they're an alien.
yeah,
I mean, okay, think about aliens, right?
yeah.
I think something that kind of makes it more difficult to I don't think we'll ever interact with aliens. If they even if they do exist, they could exist. I don't know if
Yeah,
we'll ever be able to interact with them to any extent
yeah,
because for one, time in our universe is so spread out
yeah,
that it would have the possibility of other people existing, it would have to line up in our time, right? They have to be in the same, we'd have to have the same kind of technological advancement around the same time.
yeah.
It'd have to be near us enough that we could reach them.
The
Like
circumstance
the
is so
circumstances are insane.
stacked against it, right? There'd
Yeah.
have to be so many different determining factors for aliens to exist and to even even if we know they exist to interact with them, right? Because there's the Kardashev scale, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's the scale, or it might not be Kardashev, but it's the scale of where societies are in regards to how they're harnessing the energy around them. So we are
Mm.
currently like point 0.7 on the scale, where
Okay.
it's like 1 is we can harness the entire energy of our home world. Like we don't create
Yeah, and then I
pollution,
imagine it goes
that
up to like a Dyson sphere, which is like
yeah,
harnessing the power of like, the sun.
yeah. There's like Dyson sphere, which is type 2, and that's like harnessing the power of the solar system. Then type 3 is like your home galaxy. Type 4 is universe, and then the theoretical type 5 if the multiverse exists and all of this shit. And that's like, or excuse my language, and all that stuff. It's like that's
Unforgivable,
considering.
Nolan. Homie said,
I
he
know.
said shit. Oh my god, man.
It's the idea of like God is what a type 5 would be, right? And people think that there's just a barrier around to where we are. Like there's an idea that currently we don't know if aliens exist, right? And aliens, if they do exist, are probably either in the same scenario that we're in, where we're kind of like at point 0.7, we're doing okay, but like we're not really able to progress,
Mhm.
and or they're ahead of us and they're just like they don't care. But there's this idea of a wall. So the wall is somewhere on the scale. When we reach it, we die. Or it's incredibly difficult to surpass this benchmark of like evolutionary growth.
Yeah.
And like societies get to that point, like they get past 1 and they're able to kind of like harness their solar system or whatever, and then they just get to a point to where they can't progress and then they just die out as a species. So the theory is it's either in front of us and we have yet to reach it, right? And
Mhm.
we can't like progress beyond that point and then humans just die off. Or it's behind us. We passed the benchmark and now we're going to be able to harness like our galaxy type, right? Whatever it is, if it's behind us, then we're probably never going to see aliens. If it's in front of us, we might.
I mean, let me ask this then. This
Yeah.
kind of goes into that idea of like being able to surpass that energy benchmark.
Yeah.
Do you think that the factors that create like sentient life, so like humans be sentient. I imagine there's other like creatures in biology that are sentient, but like humans kind of be conquering the earth and inflicting their will on it more than any other creature.
Yeah.
Do you think the factors that create a life like that also create its own downfall? Like in terms of like
Mm,
ego and greed and those kind of aspects of humans that cause them to just like self-destruct themselves are what make something sentient. And the fact that that is a part, this is also, this may be not scientifically accurate, but do you think that those parts of humanity are what make them capable of being human? And because
mm,
that other species in the like other aliens also have those things if they're like akin to us. Like aliens, so there would be like animal aliens, right? Maybe Avatar out there, but not with the blue people.
I
Um,
wish Avatar was real. That'd be so cool.
Earth is like ruined in Avatar, man.
Yeah, but then I could like
It's a
I would be
cyberpunk
like,
dystopia.
listen,
Go
listen,
to
listen, listen, listen,
go to
listen, listen.
Orlando, Florida. Go to Animal Kingdom. They got the Pandora experience for you there.
Yeah, I could just pretend to be, what are they called?
The Navi,
The Navi. I could pretend to
the
be a
blue
big
pole.
blue Navi and be like, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
I don't know if I'd want to be a Navi. Like
Yeah, I think it'd be
like
cool.
humanity. Would
It
you want to
could
be one
be
permanently? You want to be Jack
Jake
Russell? His
Sully,
name is not
Jake
Big
Sully, Jake
Sully, not
Sully,
Jack Russell. Jack Russell's a dog breed.
Jake Sully. And then she'll lady like hisses at him, and then he's like, "Oh, this is a weird planet." Listen, I'm not.
You just wanna fall in love with the blue alien.
No,
No,
I don't want to fall in love with a blue
you
alien. You
don't.
know that's not true. You know it not to be true. No. Also, side note, I feel like those movies aren't like the great written movies.
They're not the
Like,
greatest written, I'll say that,
yeah,
but I think the cinematic experience they offer is very interesting. Like
it's cool.
I saw Avatar, the first one,
Hmm.
before the second one came out on
Yeah,
like a IMAX screen. I was like, "Oh, this shit good. Okay,
yeah,
I'm kind of into this." But if you
yeah,
watch it at home, it really loses that
yeah.
charm that
Like then it just becomes
seeing
like
a
a
movie
pretty
in the theater has.
boring movie.
Yeah, I think it's also the time in between me seeing it. I really like the world building of it also. I think it's really interesting. I was not that big of a fan of the second one. The second one's really
Yeah,
long.
but
It's hard to watch.
I didn't like it because it was just the same movie.
You like
Like,
ocean.
yeah, I like Ocean, and I like the setting again because it's like they think they it's super cool. But what I feel like they're gonna do is,
They're gonna make an Avatar movie about each of the different village types in Minecraft. There's gonna be
yeah,
snow villagers. There's gonna be
like volcano
cave villagers.
villagers.
Yeah, those, and they're gonna be
But
blue Na'vi people.
yeah. So what I feel like, because the movie synopsis, and this describes literally both of them, is humans come to Earth. Um, they aren't chill with, or they want to get a thing that makes them cooler. First one was unobtainium, which is okay, fucking dumb name. The second one was like what, like
It's
the super
unobtainable.
yeah. The second one was like the whale brain matter, and it makes them like immortal or something. Um,
Yeah,
and then it's like, so big corporate America or big corporate human comes
big
over. They're
corporate
like,
Earth, big
big
Earth.
corporate Earth, big Earth. They just want to harvest Nanavi. Big
Don't
Earth
get me
comes
started on
over.
Big Milk, bro.
You're big milk. Um,
I
Big
think Big
Earth,
Milk sponsors the Got Milk ads. It's just Big Milk.
big milk.
This is a side tangent. Continue on your thing.
It's just like they come to the planet. They're like, we want this thing, and then you're like, no. And then like there's a guy who's Jake Sully, and he's like, oh, I have to learn the ways of these people. And then he does that in the first movie, and then he's like, oh, I have to learn the ways of water. Huh, title card. Um, and then he learns the ways of water, and then he's like a badass, and he's cool. And then they save the day by killing the humans, and like one cool person dies. First one it was like the doctor lady. The second one it was like the kid. Um, and they
That
were,
kid was spoilers for Avatar: Way of
oh
Water,
yeah,
by the way,
spoilers for
and Avatar the
Avatar: Way
first
of
one.
Water.
That
Who cares? They're
the
gonna out.
son is so obviously gonna die. Like he has
Yeah,
no character flaws, and the other ones are
yeah,
like, oh, here's this flawed character that has all these things, and he's like his dad's mad at him. Here's this other guy, and he doesn't have the flaws. He's the eldest, and he's the firstborn, and then he gets
and
killed
he's cool
like
though.
immediately after he becomes useless.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
and and then it's just like, okay, well now we have to leave because we don't want like you guys because they're after us. So now we got to go to another, and then it's just gonna be them going to another village. Like we have to learn the ways of fire, and then they just do that again, and it's just
Well,
like,
why do you think
okay,
it's called Avatar? Oh, he's
oh,
got to learn
title
each of the
card.
elements, man. He's got to learn
Well,
the
okay, yeah,
elements
and he started as an
instead of getting
airbender
burned.
because they have the flying things, and they're on like the floating islands.
I don't. This is not an accurate.
Jake Sully is just Aang from Avatar.
He, he's just all blue arrow.
But yeah, I
You
just
see
feel
the
like
trailer for the new Last Airbender Netflix show?
no, there's a new one.
They're doing a live action one.
Oh, awesome! Can't wait to see Ong.
Okay, it's not the movie. I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. I don't really think it needs one.
Yeah,
That's my problem with like live action remakes. I don't
yeah,
think a lot of the times they're necessary. I've heard like reasons why they are. It's like get a new audience, but
yeah.
I don't know.
If
I
that's
feel
the
like we
case, they're
recycle
just
media way too much just to create more
especially
content.
Disney, bro. Don't even get me started on fucking Disney. Or God, yeah, dang it! I keep cursing.
You gotta start
Don't even
cursing,
get me.
man. That's illegal.
I know. Ever since the government banned it. No, I just feel like Disney is really stretching it. Have you seen their new movie, Wish? Oh my
I've
god,
not seen it. What do you
it's
not like about Wish?
so bad. It
You
had
saw Wish?
yeah, I like Disney movies. I watch them. Not in theaters. I pirated it.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay,
Whoa,
okay.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh
Website.
no.
No, I didn't pirate it. I watched it in theaters.
Why'd
Um,
you say you pirated it?
I don't
Did
know
you
because
just?
I don't want
Oh,
to
I committed
admit
a
that I.
crime.
I don't
Psych.
want. I,
What are you
I don't want
talking
to
about?
admit that I went to like the theaters to watch a Disney movie.
Well, you just did. So
Okay. Okay. So basic premise is like this girl. There's this king who's like king in this kingdom. Everybody loves him, and he's like, I get to grant people's wishes, and it's like, oh, cool, because it's like the wish upon
spoilers
a
for the
star.
movie Wish.
Spoilers for the movie Wish, right?
Thanks for
Um,
spoiling a bunch of movies.
I don't care. Go watch them.
Okay, no.
Um,
I'm not. I'm probably not going to see Wish. I do appreciate that the movie is trying to be original to some
yeah.
extent. I have a real
Um,
problem with the Disney live action remakes, but
it's bad. Or at least in
okay.
my opinion. But it's like you have the basics plot synopsis is like there's this king, I forget his name, he's like a cool guy, everyone loves him, he grants wishes, and this girl's like, I want my wish granted. And he's like, nope. And he's like, why? And he's like, I can't grant everyone's wishes because if people could just wish for like the world to end, that's not good. So I gotta be careful, and I gotta really like think about whose wishes I grant. And she's like, okay, whatever. She goes in a forest and she finds this little wishing star, and there's this talking goat because the star can make animals talk. And he's like, "Ha, I'm the comic relief character." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then she goes to the kingdom, and it turns out the king is evil. Oh no.
They showed
And
that he's evil in like the trailers.
yeah, I know, right? He's evil because he's gonna use green wish magic, and that makes wishes bad, and he's gonna use that to
Yeah,
rule the world, even though he's the
I
king of
mean,
this kingdom, and literally everyone loves him, and he has no motivation to do this. He's doing it anyway, because he's like, haha, I get to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then he has this song, and it's like, everyone was excited, because it's like, oh, it's a villain song, let's go, and it was bad. It was like it was just like a very like pop. Like it wasn't like Disney fantasy. It was just pop. And I looked into it. The people who directed the music in the movie were like people who wrote songs for Justin Bieber. And it's like you have
I
like
did
this
not know
talented
you have very strong opinions on this movie.
okay,
I did not
you
know
have
you did
like
research.
no, you have like people in Disney who make beautiful fantasy like soundtracks, and they're awesome, and they're still work at Disney. Get the person who wrote like the Frozen music. The music in the movie was good, but then you get the person who makes Justin Bieber songs to write it. No shame on them, right? They did their best, but like horrible, horrible miscast if you could have for write the music of a fantasy world in like your 25th anniversary movie, and then it just ends. Then she beats him with the wishing star, and then everyone's happy, and then that's the end. And I'm skipping over so much because literally nothing matters in the movie. There's like these side characters who are like, there's like a deaf one, and there's like a cripple one because she has like a limp in her leg, but like it doesn't matter because they're so inconsequential to the movie. You could just watch the beginning and the end, and you'd get the same experience. And that was their 25th anniversary movie. Like, how do you mess up that bad?
Tell me how you really feel, Nolan.
I
I mean,
just go
I was probably not gonna see the movie. I'm be honest. I'm not
just go
a
watch
big
Aladdin.
watch Aladdin.
go watch Aladdin. Go watch Princess and Frog. Go watch Big Hero 6. I don't know. Like they're all on Disney Plus. People are like, "Oh, Disney movies aren't as good." Well, they have a streaming service where you can watch them wherever you want. So just do that. Disney sucks.
Ye- I mean, okay, I'll say this because you mentioned Frozen, and
Yeah.
this thing popped in my brain.
Yeah.
I find a lot of conspiracy series very funny.
Hmm.
I think there's not. I don't put that much stock into basically any of them,
Hmm.
but one of them is the reason they created Frozen. Do you know about this?
No, continue.
The reason that Disney created Frozen is when
Hmm.
you looked up Disney Frozen, it didn't pop up search results for Disney's Frozen head
Well,
in a jar.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Because there's a theory that Walt Disney was crowd frozen after
Yeah.
he had
Like
cigarettes.
he's in a Futurama head at the bottom of like the Epcot ball.
Yes. It's called Spaceship Earth, Nolan.
Okay,
Not
what?
the Epcot ball.
Whatever,
Jesus.
dude.
Get your naming conventions
I
right.
haven't
That's
been to
not.
Disney World in like 8 years or something.
I went on Spaceship Earth 3 days ago.
Nice. Do you know what
I'm
like?
also on Earth.
Yeah. Do you know, bro? Inconvenient timing from Chris. Good lord. Uh,
They have zero context for that.
sorry about that, audience. Um, but okay. Do you know like the original idea for Epcot was?
It was like, oh yeah, it was like a cult
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to create my own laws, and I want to create a city of tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna control the governance of it. I'm gonna control what people eat, what they how when they sleep. He was making like
Yeah.
a cult town, and then he died, and they're like, let's not do that. And then
Yeah.
they
It
made it
was
like an
insane.
educational park, and they're like for school field trips, and they're like, oh, that also kind of went. No one went to it. Then they closed
I
it half
don't.
the things, now making
Yeah.
it California Adventure basically.
Yeah.
Um,
And like he was like, did you know what his last word? Like people say that when he was on his deathbed, he was like looking at the popcorn ceiling and he was moving his finger around. He's like, "That's where the residential district will go." And like he was planning out the mapping of Epcot while he was dying, and people were
they
like,
liked
"Jesus,
Epcot.
dude."
He had a passion.
And they were like, "Walt, you can't, you can't govern a city because then you have to like, you
Yeah,
have to."
he was trying to be like, "I will rule this city. I will create its
He's
laws."
like,
Like, I don't know about that,
you
geez. I don't
can't
know about that.
do a like he's literally trying to do Bioshock.
Well, they have a town there. It's called like Century,
Yeah.
or something. And they part of it is like controlled by the Walt Disney Company, but some of it is, I think it's governed by the laws of the United
Yeah.
States.
Like, like, you can't. One another another cool Disney fact. Like
Welcome to the Disney Facts podcast.
Disney fact podcast with Nolan Ring and Matthew Walker. Um, or
We're
Matthew
not
Walker,
gonna say my
Nolan Riggin.
last name. Uh,
Okay.
I guess we're
Um,
saying our last name now. All right.
um, you can neither be pronounced dead or be born on Disney property. Like, because it's the city of fun. Like, they won't pronounce you dead
No,
until
they'll
you're
move you
off.
off. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll move you off, and like people have tried to get kids born in, like
yeah, because
in Disneyland,
they want to have like free passage
free
for
passes
kids.
for
They
forever,
think it's how
right?
citizenship works, which no, it's
Yeah.
not.
No, that's a thing that like Disney was like, if your kid's born on Disneyland, we'll give you free season passes forever. Yeah, and it's like, oh, cool. It's also that's what a black pass is. Um, I don't know if they still do those, but like, if have you seen that? There's like a
What?
basically if a kid sees like someone in the cost if they see like Goofy go backstage and take off his helmet and smoking a cigarette, like a kid's perception of Disney is ruined, right? So they're like, oh, sorry. And they give you a black pass, and a black pass is like yearly passes for a long time. And they
A
just I
lot
don't
about
know if
the inner workings of Disney. Do
yeah.
not know you know about this.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't think they do them anymore, but it's just kind of like a way to be like, sorry, didn't mean to ruin your kid's time at Disney. Here's this thing, but have you seen that Have you seen that video? It was of Mrs. Incredible. She's walking
Oh,
out on
yeah, she
stage.
trips and
She
then, like, the
trips and her
faceplate
face
falls out.
falls
Yeah, that's
off.
horrifying. That's horrifying.
It's such a funny video. I love that video.
I mean, like, a court case about there's somebody in the
Uh,
Tigger costume, and
yeah.
they tried to I think he got it was alleged he, like, sexually assaulted somebody in
Oh,
the
jeez.
suit.
In
And then they had, like, a
dude.
court case about it. I don't know how it ended up, but it
That's
was
so
kinda gnarly. I
I'm
don't know.
sorry
I
for
think
laughing at that, but I'm
yeah, I
just
don't know
like,
why you laughed at that. It's a
I'm
serious subject, Nolan.
I'm just
Jesus
picturing
Christ.
that, and that's like really fucked up.
Oh
It's
my
really
god.
messed up.
I
Um,
don't know what I don't know how it ended. Like, what was the
Probably not great.
result?
Um, Probably not great for that guy. But yeah, what were we talking about before I went on Disney rant?
We're talking about Wish, which you clearly hated.
Oh yeah,
Um,
dude. Okay, don't even get me started. No, just watch old
oh, he
Disney
was acquitted.
movies. Oh, he was.
Yeah, it's
Oh
bigger
wow.
actor acquitted.
Oh, it.
This happened in 2004. I'm just like 2 years. So I was 2 years old.
Jeez.
Um,
Yeah, I was a wee bab.
you're a wee bab. I
A
don't think
wee
people
bab
say that. Wee bab?
crawling around on the floor. Or I was probably walking. Or when do babies usually walk?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Uh, I just
How do
know
you
I
one normally? How do
what
you
what?
survive? How do you get through the normal day?
How do I get through my day to day?
How do
Well,
you get through
first
your day?
I wake up. Yeah, that's the hardest part right there.
Waking
Uh,
up?
yeah. I don't eat breakfast because I eat like a big lunch, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm also just not hungry in the morning. But yeah, I just get up. I have like caffeine, so I could wake myself up. Usually like a Coke or something, or like coffee. Um, and
That's
then
healthy.
yeah, I know, right?
I'm one to
Uh,
talk about health.
nice.
I
You're
eat a
going to the
granola
gym.
bar.
You're
I eat a
going to the
granola
gym.
bar, in the morning to
I should
satiate my
probably be doing
stomach.
that,
I
so I don't like eat as much during lunch.
I tried eggs for the first
Yeah.
time.
Really? You did?
Yes. I
Nice.
ate
How'd you like them?
scrambled eggs at a Waffle House in Florida.
How'd you like
They
them?
were good. They were good.
Nice.
I didn't dislike them.
Yeah.
They were decent.
Um, one
Would
of
likely eat
my
them again.
one of when I was living in Texas, one of my go-to like either breakfast or dinners when I was didn't have much, I always had. Here's a life hack. Buy at like grocery stores, they have these big 10-pound bags of rice.
Mhm.
Buy one of those. If you don't want to worry about food, if you just buy this huge bag of rice, you only need like 1 cup for a pretty decent sized bowl of rice. So if you don't mind eating
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
of rice, like you'll be set for a while and it
I've
won't go bad.
been trying to eat stuff that's a bit more healthy
Yeah.
recently and try new things. 'Cause I never really tried foods because I'm a
Yeah.
weird stomach man.
Weird stomach man
And
Matthew Walker.
I mean, rice is decent. It tastes like
Yeah.
nothing. I taste like rice,
Yeah.
I guess. But
You wait,
I don't know.
you taste like rice?
I said I don't taste like rice. I don't know what I
Oh,
taste like.
okay. You probably like Matthew.
Nolan, Nolan, you're the kind of guy who knows how they taste like. I don't know why you'd know that, but when I talk to you,
Thanks, I
don't take that as
appreciate
an
it.
insult.
Um, no, but my go-to was I had this big bag of rice, and then I had like eggs a lot. And
Mhm,
so I would just make scrambled eggs and rice, and I would put like sriracha sauce and a little bit of soy sauce, and that was
mhm.
so good because it was like salty and it was spicy and it had like a bunch of protein in it, and it was like it filled me up. So I would just do that, and then I'd be like good.
Just for like lunch.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Where if I didn't want to cook anything and I just wanted like a quick meal, I would just boil some rice and then scramble some eggs. And it was super easy to do. And then I would just make that, and then I would just have that. And that was I didn't do like I also did noodles, like the microwave ones, but I tried not to do those too much because those aren't crazy good for you. But that
I
was
don't
if
think
like
Thursday's good for you.
yeah. That was just for like if I needed a quick like lunch thing or if I needed like a quick thing, I'd just throw one of those in the microwave. But yeah, I would. That's usually what I did. I really ate fast food, but now I eat fast food a lot more because I can't really cook stuff for myself. I used to cook my own
Mm.
lunches, but now I don't. So I'm gonna start cooking my own lunches when I get my own place, when I have my own
I
kitchen.
mean, you consider yourself like a morning person? Because I know you say you don't eat breakfast. I think I'm a morning
Um,
person at this point. I wake up way too early.
I no, I'm more of like a night person. I get more stuff done during the night. Like I
Why do you
like
think that is? What about nighttime makes you more productive?
um
The
I maybe
wolves?
the howling. Um, but mostly when I was growing up, we would mostly my family would mostly be awake during the night because my mom
Mm,
has pretty bad insomnia, and my dad also has pretty bad insomnia. He has to take medicine for it, and so me and my mom, we would always be up super late, and then my dad, if he was up with us, if he wasn't at work, if he was up, we would just be like watching late night cartoons and stuff.
yeah.
And I when I was growing up, I was always just up super late, and then I would go to sleep, and then I wake up, and I'm like, oh, time for school, and then I would go home, and then sleep as soon as I get home from school, and wake up kind of like a little later, and then just hang out throughout the night. That was kind of like reason I'm more productive at night is because that's how I've always kind of been. Which is
Yeah.
weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is just how I was like raised,
Mm.
but I feel like ashamed if I'm up too late. Like I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm not in bed. Oh no. But I don't know. I
Sounds
also
fun.
wake up at like 4 or 5 on most days.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get on my I gotta get on it. I gotta get wake up, gotta eat my granola bar for consumption.
Mhm.
Gotta be up and ready, dude.
Up and ready.
What
Matthew
time
Walker, up and ready.
I find amusing how people perceive what early is based off how early they wake up. Like I have a friend um that literally wakes up at like he considers anything before 12 early.
Oh, jeez,
Like,
really?
oh, man, it's like lunchtime, man. What are you talking about?
Dude, like, come on. I'd probably consider anything early, like before 7.
Or 7?
I feel, yeah.
When do you believe that the evening starts?
The evening, like 6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
What do you think an appropriate time for like dinner is?
I usually eat around like 7 or 8.
Bruh.
Yeah. Well, what?
I eat my dinner at 5:30. I eat the dinner. I also
Okay,
make
bozo.
myself like breakfast at like 12 or 11. Not breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I meant lunch. I don't make my breakfast at 12. I don't make breakfast. I eat granola bar.
On the subject of breakfast, what are your thoughts on breakfast for dinner?
I think it is I think it's a good idea. I
Okay.
mean, why do we classify some foods as breakfast foods and some foods as dinner foods?
I have no idea. It,
You know
what?
why? Like cereal. You know why eggs, bacon, and hash browns are like, oh, this is your breakfast champions.
Why?
I think like the news in like the 50s was like, oh, breakfast champions. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like proliferated into
Well,
being what how people perceive breakfast to be.
yeah. Um, yeah, because I guess it was just like they would see people who would get up in the morning, they'd eat like this very easy to make thing, and it gives you a lot of like health benefits, and they're like, oh, eat this. And then I was like, okay. I don't know. But I, what is your favorite, like, do you like breakfast, lunch, or dinner the most?
Probably lunch.
Like lunch
But
foods?
I love a good breakfast. I love a good breakfast.
I gotta go with breakfast. Breakfast.
But you don't eat breakfast.
Yeah, but
How
I
is
like
it?
because I eat like breakfast is well, I eat breakfast on like the weekend. I'll make like French toast and bacon. It's just like, oh, it's so good. French
Okay,
toast is so
buddy.
good. French toast is
French toast is kind
awesome.
of good. Speaking of France, I saw Napoleon movie. I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
It was
You
a
didn't?
weird.
Weird
Speaking of
time.
France, well, in that movie, Napoleon's a little freak, man. He's like he's
Well,
basically the entire movie is him being like,
a weirdo.
it's
I'm a freak.
okay. You seen Creep?
I'm a
You prefer
weirdo.
the acoustic? Do you prefer the acoustic or the regular version of Creep
Regular.
by Radiohead?
Regular.
I prefer acoustic. I listened to acoustic originally after seeing Guardians 3, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is it to me. This is the one. This
This
is
is
how I
this
want to
one.
experience this music. And then I hear the other one, it's like there's all loud noises in this. I don't know about
I'm
this.
afraid. Yeah. It's a lot more energy. But I have a like a free movie ticket thing where it's like
You should see Dream Scenario. I hear it's good. But about Napoleon,
scenario.
about Napoleon real quick.
Yeah.
What do you think Napoleon is about? I mean, obviously about Napoleon, but what do you think happens in Napoleon's life? What do you know about Napoleon
Is it
Bonaparte?
about just like is it about just like his rise to power and how he's like a little weirdo?
Well, so Napoleon was obsessed with this woman named Josephine, who he married.
Uh
And then
huh.
they divorced because when he was in Egypt,
Yeah,
she
so he likes
like
Egypt people.
she slept with somebody else in like the noble court.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Why you do this to me? I'm Napoleon. I like conquer the world. Why?"
Wasn't
He's
he?
like, "What?
Wasn't
Was
Napoleon like
Napoleon what?"
sent to an island to be
Well,
exiled?
that's after he screwed up and he tried to invade Russia and like technically he tried to invade Russia in like this fall or something. He
Mm-hmm.
stayed too long because they burned Moscow to this. Spoilers for history after
Spoilers.
the French Revolution.
Spoilers for the
He
history of the world.
They tried to invade Russia and they
Uh huh.
got to Moscow and Moscow was empty. Like everybody left Moscow. And it's like, "Oh, well, I guess I conquer Moscow." And then Napoleon went to sleep in Moscow
Uh huh.
with his whole little army.
Yeah.
And when he woke up, the Russian army burned Moscow to prove to Napoleon that they would never submit to him. That they'd rather see their capital
That's
burned
that's kind of
than
cool.
allow themselves to be conquered.
That's kind of
And
badass.
Napoleon's like, "Oh yeah, we're leaving." So Napoleon left, and then on the way back, he hit the Russian winter.
Uh
A
huh.
lot of his guys died, and they're like, "We need you to retire, buddy. You kind of screwed this one up."
And he's like, haha, nope. And then they sent him to an island. And then he
Well, he
came
was like,
back.
"Okay, then." And then he left for a year on an island, and then he came back, and he's like, "Oh, dude, the scene, not the scene, but so Napoleon shows up from this is a Napoleonic podcast.
Mhm.
Napoleon shows up from the island.
Yeah.
He rocks up, and the entire Fifth Regiment of French, like soldiers, are there. Like, buddy, you gotta leave.
Hmm.
And they all have their weapons drawn at him, and he's like, "Am I not your emperor? Am I not Napoleon? If you want to shoot me, you can." And they're like, "Viva la Napoleon!" They all side on him, and then like the officers run away. Then he has like his army. Then he gets his ass whooped at Waterloo. He gets crunched on. He gets
Yeah.
crunched by
Gets
it's the Prussians.
I think
Oh, it's somebody. I don't know. You think that what are the Prussians doing?
aren't Prussians like kind of where Byzantine is? No, that's something else. All right, continue, Matt. Fucking putting
About
me on the spot.
Napoleonic history?
You put me on the spot.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Prussians are weird because when I was dumb as a child, I was like, are they kind of like Russia? Because they have most of their name in it. I'm like, that's not how names work.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know who the Prussians are. I know they were a
Yeah.
faction of government
Same with Napoleon.
in Europe. You want me to know more about Napoleon? Okay, so Napoleon
Oh
got
well, you don't
crunched
have
on.
to. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, he left. The movie I
Yeah.
didn't like the movie very much. It was very I watched it with my dad. It was kind of uncomfortable watching my dad because they have like there's like sex scenes in it. Um,
Awesome.
and it's like either Napoleon like eating people in battle or it's like him dealing with Josephine. I think the acting was pretty good. I liked how the person playing Josephine portrayed her. I felt it was interesting. But yeah,
Mhm.
I just didn't like it very much.
Oh, Dream Scenario is a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah. That movie I'm looking forward to seeing. It seems very
I
weird and
gotta watch that.
interesting, and I kind of like
I'll
those kind of movies.
I'll watch that. Um, I was gonna watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but I guess it's not in theaters anymore.
You watch FNAF?
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I s-
There's
Five
also like
Nights
a
at
studio.
Freddy's.
If that's where you wanna be, I just don't get her. Like, there's also a like a Ghibli type of movie. And I was like,
The Boy and the Heron, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I like their stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can go watch that. I might watch both.
So I would like to ask you a question, Nolan, because we're kind of it's close to an hour of us rambling.
It's close to an hour. Ask away, my friend.
Why do you think I put a chair in between our two little pixelated heads?
Hmm, that is a
And
good question.
what is this object symbolic meaning to you?
Um, I think it means that you called me up. You're like, Nolan, let's do this podcast. I'm like, all right, and we both just sat down and we're having this chat. Right, the chair symbolizes our time sitting down, reflecting on our days, talking to each other as friends, and just having a good time. Because this was a good time. There's a bunch of laughs involved, and that's what I feel like chair symbolizes.
I just find chairs funny. The end.
You just put it there because it was funny.
Cut off the okay. Cut.